Barber College Success, brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy JC, Crown Cuts Academy Bristol, and Craig's Crown Cuts Downtown JC. Spreading love the JC way is the only way we know how to do it, but spreading love is also the Crown Cuts way. We took a break, we took some time off, but we're going to come back with banging. We got a banging guest. My co-host is waiting to just, his tongue is just waiting just to let off some lethalness. We're going to come there, we're going to talk about mental health. You know, today is suicide. This month is actually Suicide Prevention Month. And we're going to talk about what we do, and we're going to talk about the importance of doing community service and helping as a barber, as a cosmetologist, as a nail tech, just under this industry of cosmetology, the importance of giving back. I'll let my guest introduce himself, and then I'll let my co-host first. No, my co-host, bang him out. I know you missed it. Did you miss it?
I missed it. I feel guilty for not being here. Honestly, am I your barber on Instagram? Blessed to be back after
2 weeks.
2 weeks. It felt like a month. It felt longer.
Man, I know. Co-host, introduce yourself. Talk about yourself. Tell us what you do. And
all right,
proud to be here today. Let them know what you're thinking.
Okay, my name's Chauncey Boyd. From Virginia. I went to school with Craig back in the 90s. We some of them from that good generation before everything got watered down. Currently living in Georgia, but on the fence about making the transition back to Johnson City. So we'll see what takes place there.
Let's do it. Game time.
Craig invited me in to come and talk. I'm looking forward to this, and now that I'm here, I'm excited, and I really might want to get into some more of these. He got the wheels turning.
Hey, this is fun. I mean, this is like kind of like my safe place. This is like I look forward to coming. Am I? What about you? I know
every day, and I got to drive.
Yeah,
but that's my wind down time. I get to just zen out, and then I get here, and then boom.
Well, how did y'all get together to start this?
We keep pushing, we keep putting it out. We never told the story. I'll sum it up.
I know. Go ahead, tell the story, and then we'll jump into the podcast.
You got time. I'm a time limit. You want to paraphrase? All right,
go ahead, make it happen.
So basically, I was an apprentice, and I was supposed to take my licensing test. But as an apprentice, I was lacking on the school part, and I was not prepared for the test. I had a teacher, the former owner of Bristol School of Hair Design, was supposed to prompt me on my test. Unfortunately, she passed away 3 days before my test. So I was kind of scrambling, nervous. And I remember I followed Crown Cuts Academy on Instagram, which I'd passed it before, and I knew they had an Instagram, and that's all I really knew about them. But I messaged them. I was like, hey, can you guys train me for my test? And I just got a reply back, say, yeah, sure. And I showed up, knew nobody, no one, barely knew where I was at. I pulled up looking crazy. They were like, can I help you? I didn't want a haircut. I didn't want to be in school. I was just like, yo, I'm trying to study. So thankfully, Craig was there and welcomed me with open arms. Even though I didn't go to school, they helped me, and I was able to pass my licensing test. And then, time goes by, build a relationship, and he offered me a chance to be a co-host on the podcast. And here I am.
Good guy. He is a good guy.
It was written.
It was written. It was supposed to happen. Yeah. So today we're gonna talk about mental health, the importance of mental health in our industry, the importance of community service in the industry, and just understanding that we are more than just barbers. We are more than just barbers. It's more than just cutting hair when you jump into this industry. Don't fall behind the track or fall behind the stigma of just wanting to be a cutter. Because being a master barber entitles you have responsibilities. What do you think about that, Chauncey, when you hear that? When you hear me say that, what do you think about that? You know nothing too much about the barbering industry. You come and get your hair cut, you love the tight fade, and then you leave.
Well, I heard you speak on that before, and my first thought, I think you did an interview with ETSU, and you alluded to a little bit of that. And my first thought was that was how everything started, was you started out in the dorm room, and it was fellas coming in the room, talk, chit-chat, chop it up. And from there, it just grew. And then when you opened up the shop, it's the same thing. You got folks that come in, we chit-chat, chop, talk, and everything's good. And it's like you're becoming an intricate part of the community. And I think that plays a key role in every community, just being able to have that outlet and folks come in and talk and getting to know each other and, finding out what's really going on outside of your circle.
Right.
And I think that's an amazing place. And it's like everywhere I've lived. I've lived in Virginia, North Carolina. I'm in Georgia now, here in Tennessee. And it's the same everywhere. You got folks that come in, you sit down with your barber. It don't matter whether it's what's on the news, what's going on with the world, what's going on in sports. It's good. You know, you got folks coming in. Let's talk about skincare. Let's talk about, how you take care of your hair. Let's talk about what's going on with the schools. Let's talk about with the kids and the COVID thing with the vaccine. I think it's an amazing thing, an amazing place for folks to just come in, let your hair down, unwind, talk, chop it up with everybody.
And with that being said, you have an innate responsibility to your clients. So that's why I thought it was just important today just to talk about mental health. Um, September Suicide Prevention Month. Those things are really dear to my heart right now because I am on a tour, training barbers across the country. And when that was presented to me, it wasn't something that I had to think about. It was just right. It just made sense. You have a service that you're giving to the community where people come in to patronize your business. So you have to give back. And what I'm doing and giving back through mental health education, it just resonates with me so much because I remember through my life all the people who didn't get opportunity and didn't get diagnosed. Because with that mental health stigma, when people laugh and don't and take it for granted,
That's
when
good
people don't,
therapy.
it's when people take that for granted, the stigma of that, it doesn't give you opportunity to get help. It doesn't give you opportunity to get better. So just reducing that stigma and giving people opportunity to get better, and that's what makes it just so right for me. Am I?
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing to go and speak to barbers and other people. Um, you know, it's a big deal, like that people don't understand how important it is just to have somebody to talk to about stuff. And I think that's everything. I mean, and some people don't have that person or not willing to open up to anybody
Right.
and just hold it all in until they self-destruct. Like you said, suicide prevention month. A lot of that is just I could imagine what has to undergo in your head to have that built up anxiety that you're dealing with to maybe take your own life. But you know, if we could only, if nothing else, be a voice to somebody, say, hey, let me hear it. What's going on? Like
Right.
if that's all we can do, then we need to at least do that.
And just being part of the Confess Project, theconfessproject.com, check it out. It's a national grassroots program across the country trying to reach 1 million barbers to educate barbers to be advocate for their clients. Just being part of that has just helped me. It has re-emphasized to me and enforced to me again, giving people opportunity, giving people a chance. I can remember going to some of my friends' home and you would hear an uncle in the back, a cousin in the back, and they'd be screaming or making a certain type of noise. And you're like, what's going on? You get afraid of that person. You get afraid. You don't even want to go to that house again. But what is going on, what is taking place is that someone has had some mental health issues that they were born with. And with families not knowing how to take care of the situation, they put them in a room and ostracize them by themselves. If I'm in a room by myself and I'm saying, just sitting there, no one talking to me, someone just dropping the food, I'd start screaming too. So imagine someone who's not properly diagnosed, who's in a room by themselves, who don't have the proper care, the proper help. What's going on?
And unfortunately, I got to see a lot of that when I worked in a prison system. I worked in a correctional facility that was specialized in mental health, and you know, one of the biggest things in the corrections right now is not allowing people to sit in a room for 23 hours a day, because, like you said, you set me in a room, nobody to talk to, nothing to do, no TV to watch, 23 hours a day for God knows how many years, you're gonna go crazy too. I don't care who you are, you're going crazy. I mean, it just is what it
Yeah,
is.
and we talking about, and I think everyone in everyone's family can relate to
Mm.
that. Everyone, Chauncey, everyone family can go back to a time. If it's not your family, it's a friend or the neighbor, someone in your direct community, your neighborhood. There's someone who someone can always talk about, like, man, that guy's crazy. Something's wrong with that guy. They're not. They don't want. They don't know who wants to be born that way. It wasn't a choice that they had, some type of chemical imbalance, but let's give them help. Let's kill that stigma. Let's diagnose them early. Let's give them the proper help we need. Let's teach our family, our friends, our neighbors what mental health is so we can kill that stigma, because it's not fair.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest piece to it is the education side, because you got a lot of families that it was a secret
Yes.
what was going on. And, especially in the Black community, you got a lot of secrets that are taking place. And that's one of the major ones is like they'll accept whatever's happening to the person and the family. So either they may not be financially able or they just might not have the knowledge of where to go.
You don't know. Education. You don't
Mhm.
know. Information.
I was just gonna say, like when we were in Boston, remind me of her name, that she was working. She had started her own mental health. Um, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But she
CC,
sometimes,
CC's cry.
yeah, sometimes the resources are kind of put out of reach.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're put in a place where it's harder to get to, and if we could stress it more, I mean, we might even we got to build up around it. I mean, honestly, if we just start with barbers, we're going to have people in, advocating and trying to get people help.
Yeah, and knowing that we have so many, there's not a whole lot of clinicians out there, but we have a ton of barbers, we have a ton of cosmetologists, we have a ton of nail techs, we have a ton of people in this industry, aesthetics, massage. You should start thinking about that while you're in school, how to have a proper consultation, how to be an active listener, how to have some positive communication with your client while they're sitting in the chair. Because one thing that I've noticed through my years, and I didn't even think about it until I became part of the Confess Project, there are a lot of barbers who don't like talking to their clients. Sometimes there's some clients that don't want to have a conversation.
We
And
appreciate them too.
we appreciate them too. And we
You
understand
gonna
that.
chill, I'm gonna chill. We gonna
But
chill together.
you also have to you can do your part and help.
Mhm.
You can do your part and help. And that's what the Confess Project has taught me. And it's something I've been doing all my whole career in barbering, not knowing that that's an intricate part. I'm just trying to have a conversation, trying to level the vibes, trying to keep somebody calm, just trying to get to know them so I can have a pleasant time doing their haircut. And over time, it was just something that was secondary. And then it's just started getting easier. So when someone's sitting in my chair, they're gonna have a conversation with me. I'll get to know them, their family, their kids, where they're from, where they've traveled, what they like, what they don't like, and it's just as simple as that when you are in our industry. But there's a lot of people in the industry who sit there they have their headphones on. There are a lot of people in our industry don't give their clients their just due. They make it into an assembly line. And I want to reach out to all the students who start, let them know, hey, you have a responsibility to take care of your clients, and you can take it to the next level and give people some care.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big parts with customer service, period, is that you can't just be focused on your job. You have to be willing to, let's talk, let's mingle, let's, see what's going on. Because this might be the only time that this person has an opportunity to express what's going on or to let themselves go and be free. They might be at work, they might be miserable there. They might go home, be miserable there. You come to the barbershop or you come to nail salon or wherever, this is free time for you to just actually relax, talk, and let things go. And everybody knows that your job can be very stressful.
Right.
There might be some problems at the house. And so you're getting around folks that you can commune with, talk, laugh, and get some things off of your chest. That might be the break that they need.
Yes.
That might be the break that they need just to keep them from going overboard that day.
And that's a heavy burden that we're asked. I don't want to say it's a burden, but as a barber and cosmetologist, somebody that is around the public and integrated inside the community, you have a social responsibility to try to bring some positivity to everybody that you can. I mean, if you have I mean, honestly, like, why would you want to come to a job and give somebody something great and then put negativity into them, and
Right.
you're defeating the whole purpose of what we're doing. But I honestly think those kind of people fade themselves out because
Right.
it's even people that are love what they do as far as hair get burnt out. You get tired of doing it.
Yes.
It's because you cut hairs all the time. So somebody that is just, oh man, I got 30 more minutes, I got 3 more hair. That guy's not, or female is not going to make it in the industry. I don't think. I think eventually those people just make their way out.
I know someone like me, I'm big on service.
Mhm.
So if our conversation is pleasant, I can overlook a couple of things here and there with the cut, and I'll come back to you
Mhm.
just because we had good conversation,
Mhm.
and we're building that rapport. Just like you said, and as you've been with me, when my son was old enough,
Yes.
I brought my son to you,
Yes, sir.
and that's the way that you do things. It's like, as that person matures and extends their family, you got repeat customers coming in,
Mhm.
and that it's just like a relief outlet.
And also, it's important that you say it's like a relief outlet, but you're not just reaching that client in your chair, because you're giving them information to maybe help that uncle who's in that room been locked up, so they could have some self-care, think about, you know what? Why is he in that room locked up? Why is my cousin off to the side and no one talks to him? Why is my mother, or my father, or grandfather, whoever it may be, is just locked in the corner? Because we're thinking your thought process, that's just normal. Something's going on, so let's put him up in that corner, in the house, in the room, in the back. That's not normal. And I don't know how many people, how many families or households in this world or in this country is experiencing that right now, but they just don't have the proper resources or know how to understand what's going on.
And sometimes the most hurt, saddest person is somebody who walks in with a smile on this, and they're good at it.
Right.
They're massive because they felt it for so long. They're good at, because they know they want to have a good experience for somebody else, and they don't want to bring their negativity on them. But a lot of times, I heard this rap song about Royce the 5'9" that said, "Check on your strong friends,"
Right.
because sometimes those are the people that are really carrying the heavy load that you just don't see.
That's dope. Check on your strong friends. I like that.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah, that's powerful right there. So, knowing or hearing what we just started talking about, Chauncey, what goes through your mind? And you will learn things in this podcast about barbering that you probably never learned before, because you didn't even think that. You probably didn't think the importance. You know what customer service is, but you probably didn't think about the importance of the role that we play and how else we could help.
Right.
So, what is there are responsibilities too as barbers who are going through something, because our clients can help us too as well. And one way is to have a positive attitude and have a positive communication with us as well. Because when you come in with a positive attitude and some positive communication, we can help dissect certain things to put you back on the right path. And it will show, like you said, if it's passionate for someone, if someone loved their job, but if they don't, and it will phase out.
Yeah.
But it's important for barbers starting out, cosmetologists, nail technician. Think about your community.
Yeah. I I didn't really. You hit the nail on the head. I really didn't think about the consultology budget or barbers or anything being a part with the psychological side. I do see the customer service side, as far as you said, like someone just coming into work on daily grind. I'm gonna do however many heads and I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But that is good that I myself, I know of friends, family that had that person that was the family was, I ain't gonna say they were okay with it, but everybody just knew when this is how we handled this person.
The information you don't know.
And that diagnosis and, then I think a lot of things with certain communities, you've got hospitals that are miles and miles and miles away.
Right.
And even when it comes to the education side of it, you got folks that might find out that just push them along.
Right.
Well, I know in Virginia now, the mental health facilities that take in severe mental health people are overflown now. They can't even take any new, because I mean they're understaffed just like everybody else, and they can't. So I mean, you're going to see a lot more of this on the street because it's hard for them to find somewhere to help them. So I mean, we're frontline workers to a degree, I believe,
Mhm.
because everybody needs a haircut. Even if you want to grow, I mean, even if it gets down to your butt, you're gonna need it trimmed eventually. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's got to be a stop. But you know what I'm saying? So honestly, like I said, we have a responsibility, and I would think about a situation where it was actually the other week because my father just recently passed away with coronavirus. I was talking to my last client of the day, and he had his two children with him, and I ended up getting to talk about it. And I started getting upset, and he told me that he almost lost both his children last year,
Mm.
and he lost his mother last year. He says, "Yeah," I was like, "I had no idea. I've been cutting this for a while. I had no idea any of that was happening," and I felt guilty. But he was able and he always come in with a smile on his face. I never knew that, and he was able to speak to me,
Mhm.
and because I couldn't imagine even that. So what I was dealing with, I know I'm not the only person in the world to lose a father, but just speaking to him and being open to him allowed him to open up about everything that he was dealing with. Maybe he hasn't spoken to anybody about it. So it was a beautiful thing, and I felt relieved afterwards. I mean, I was a little upset just thinking about, grief in general. It comes when it comes. So, but that was definitely a therapeutic moment for myself at the same time for him. So
And like
it,
you said, check your strong friends.
check on your strong friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. It's valuable, and it's as simple as calling the 1-800 or referencing the 1-800 number to a friend. I think all barbers, all cosmetologists should have like a number for suicide prevention, or let people know it's okay to feel the way you feel. Reduce that stigma and let them know, you know what, I'm fine. I talk to therapists. It's okay. And I think maybe this therapist should help you. Just have a number on hand where you can give a client because it's as simple as that. And those little simple words right there, I didn't know I could do that powerful, that just those powerful words saying, hey, you know what? It's okay. And here's a number that you can call. I didn't even think of that. And none of us didn't think of that before ever. And if I wasn't part of the Confess Project, I'd probably be going through life not knowing how to help a client. I'd listen and I would give them some positive reinforcements. But again, I'm not a specialist. I'm not a therapist. There are people in this community, in this world, in state to help you. There's a national number and then there's a local number that all you have to do is say, you know what, Chauncey, hey, you going through something, but try this number. These people right here is going to help you. How powerful are those words?
Right.
And it don't cost you nothing. You don't have to do a whole lot of research. It's not heavy lifting. You know what? Chauncey has this number you can call and it's okay, feel how you feel.
But it has to be genuine.
Yeah.
It has to be genuine, active listening. You can't just be like, hey, here's Car, man. It sounds like
Right.
you tripping. You have to actually genuinely listen to these people and hear what they're saying, and not give, not be sympathetic, but empathetic.
Right.
The difference, the sympathy. You're not to feel sorry for these people. Oh man, I'm not. You don't feel. You're supposed to. Hey man, I I can see how this would bother you. I have no idea what it feels like, or maybe you do, and you could give some kind of, like I spoke to what's his name, get some kind of resolve, but just be empathetic and listen.
And the key is too, because most barbers on their mind is about the dollar, the time, and trying to move someone out your seat. I understand that.
Mm.
But you do have that innate role in your community as a pillar to be like, you know what, you patronizing me, you paying me, I'm going to take your dollar. But at the same time, I'm listening to you. I'm being an advocate for you. There's something that's going on in your mind. This is something I can do for you. It's that simple. It's no heavy lifting. It's no heavy lifting because that person, like you said, you're gonna build a reputation, and they're gonna keep coming to you because
Right.
your customer service is there, but you also care about them too on the next level. You
Yeah.
care about their self-being, their family,
Hmm.
and you're referencing something to help them.
Yeah. I know I can think back to when I used to live here and came to you, and pretty much every time you would ask what was going on in my personal life,
Right.
and we would get in those discussions, and that was my time away from getting past that situation.
Right.
And even I say up until the last couple of years, every time you and I talk, it's like that conversation. Hey, Charles, what's going on? How things going with that situation, and so forth, and so on. And that's one of the things you build that rapport, and it is good therapy.
A safe place.
Yes.
And you understand it's just gonna be safe between you and that client
Hmm.
or you and your barber. and understand that it's not going to be something that you're going to be made fun of. You're just being a listener and being like a brother to a brother, sister to sister, whatever it may be.
Absolutely.
Make it a safe place.
I think that's just a person thing in general. I think if you have a conversation with somebody, it should be between y'all. You know, it shouldn't, unless somebody getting threatened or whatever, like life or death situation. But honestly, you know, like if you speak to somebody, y'all are having genuine conversations, both of y'all. I mean, you're making yourself vulnerable, and that's the hard thing about this whole thing. Is making nobody wants to be vulnerable.
Right.
It's not good. Nobody wants to cry in front of nobody. Nobody wants to, be upset or angry. It's almost an embarrassing thing, and that's where the stigma comes from.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
All that is okay. It's okay to be a man. It's okay because you know what they say, pressure busts pipes.
And sometimes the thing that I see is that you'll get, it might not be the person that you're speaking to in the chair. It might be someone sitting down that might overhear it.
Yes.
And that allows them to open up and be free to
Right.
go ahead and have that conversation. And the conversation is amongst men, and everybody's comfortable just having it because everybody's talking.
So I say this. Don't go in there in this industry just thinking about the dollar. If you do everything right, you're gonna get paid. But don't go into it with the dollar in your mind first.
Right.
Because this is a wonderful industry and your community needs you. You can help your community in so many different ways. So don't go in there thinking about just the dollar. Make this your passion. Because when it's your passion, people will see it. And then that way you reducing stigma as it is because you're loving what you do. You're loving your job. And most people don't get the opportunity to love their job. So you might give someone an opportunity to open up to you in a way that they never would because they're seeing the confidence you exude, the care for your profession, your customer service, your care for that person who hair that you cut before them. When they leave your chair, you say, you know what, have a good day in school. Keep those grades up. Respect your parents. Don't talk back to your teachers. Someone is hearing you speak to someone like that. And you know what they're like? Okay, I feel confident. Let me go sit and talk to this person. And those things start in school. Thinking about your community. Not thinking about just the bottom line, which is the dollar. We understand everybody needs to get paid because this is a business.
That's why we do. I mean, honestly, we do it for a paycheck, and we, even though we get satisfaction and we get to help people, at the end of the day, we're doing it to support our families.
Right.
It's not enough to just be the best. Sometimes you have to take care of your home front first. So
Yes.
Yeah. And thinking about what you just said a second ago, it's like, I've been around a lot of barbers, and you get a lot of the young generation that comes in. That's absolutely an amazing time for you to have that conversation. What's going on with class? What's going on at home? Are you playing sports? You playing ball? What's going on with your grades? And that might be the first opportunity that young man gets a chance to,
Or young girl.
or young lady, whoever, to get a chance to let some of that information out.
Yes.
Because they don't want to talk to the teachers. They might talk to the parents or the family.
Right.
We've got somebody that this person is doing me service, cutting my hair, doing my nails, whatever, that we're comfortable with. And then they're able to relieve some of that pressure just by having that conversation. Might get some good advice.
Yes.
Might develop a new friend, a mentor, any other. That's some good help.
Because our responsibility is bigger than just being a barber.
Right.
I can remember just walking outside of the shop, and I would see little kids just proud to just run up to me and say, "Hey, Craig, you're my barber." I'm like, man, that's major. You know what I mean? Because the conversation, the way you made them feel, the haircut is probably the last thing on their mind. It's like, hey, I went to your shop, I got a haircut, you're my barber. And that responsibility right there is something that you can't take for granted. Because you're helping the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And you're helping someone through a time where their mind is not molded yet. Their decision making is not to the point where they can just say yay or nay yet. You can help mold those decisions. You can help mold that path to make a better decision about something that comes up. So we, as we as professionals in this industry, we have a responsibility, and we can't take that for granted.
I love my job, man, and I like the people that I cut their hair for. I cut everybody from, you know, everybody. I mean, all walks of life. From the student to the dude working in a factory, from the police officer to the guy that doesn't like police officers. So like, it's a beautiful thing, and it's awesome that everybody can come in, and a lot of times like just having people there from different walks of life and them communicating can let some steam off too, and that's important. Just the barbershop environment as a whole should just be an inviting, free place. There should be dots on the map of like a sanctuary of where you
Yes.
can go and get haircut. I mean, it's like have a confess project dots like safety. You know what I'm saying? Like we're here.
I mean, like I love my job too. I love what I've done in this industry from the first day I walked to the barbershop 15, 20 years ago to now. I love that. I love that. There was never a day, like I've said before numerous times in this podcast and to my students, there's never been a day where I went to work in the past 15, 16, 17 years that I didn't want to go to work. There's never been a day where I said, I don't like this job. I hate my job. I don't want to go to work. And with that being said, I realize my responsibility right now, just being part of the Confess Project in the past 2.5 years, that man, I could have hated, and I'm not going to take my job for granted at all. I never did, but I'm going to push more and give more because I have a responsibility. Because there's so many people who are looking for that type of peace. And if you have it, give it,
And we were talking
share it.
we were talking the other day about like I mean, people don't realize how cheap of an education. I mean, you got barbers out here making more than people with their master's degrees, people with their doctor's degrees by cutting hair. So, and you get this education for pretty cheap, and it doesn't take very long to get it. And but you're continually learning. But you should give back some way, because there's a lot of barbers out here reaping the benefits of this without giving back, and they're okay with just doing their own thing and not and you should find some way to give back to your community. And if at the very least, listen to the person that you're taking the money from.
Powerful. Powerful. The very least, just
Just
give them that time, that
you know,
30 minutes,
you know,
45
you
minutes.
keeping my lights on. How's your day going? You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
just
simple.
something. Yeah.
That simple. And it's not an assembly line. Because when it becomes an assembly line for a barber, you're not going to love it no more.
No. And it makes me like I could see how some barbers would feel like, oh, they talk about clients like them, those, they got the nicknames for them. I think some dude, I forgot what they call them, but I don't want to say none because I don't know what it means. But anyways, like they got their nicknames for him. Like they just treat him like, okay, you don't want to be here, bye. Somebody else take your
Yeah.
place. Like that is just, you're going to be miserable. Like it's you against the world at that point.
Yep.
For me as a barber in my community, I feel like people that I cut care. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. Most of them, I would say, like, you want to spend your time with me, that I feel like that you care a little bit about who you're around.
Well, that's what makes your job fun.
Yeah.
That's what makes your job not stressful. That's what makes you want to go to work every day. That's what makes you not have no bad days in that environment. Because I don't know what the statistics is, but there are a lot of people who go to work every day who dislike their jobs.
Right. It's a paycheck.
It's a paycheck. And I'm telling you now, in 17 years, there's never been a day where I said I didn't want to go to work. People are like, what? How? I say that every day for the past week, past 2 months, for the past year. And I'm like,
10 years.
10 years. I'm like,
I tell you what, I know I've got a nephew. He's 14. There's been a couple of times that he went with my brother to the barbershop. He comes in and he's just full of excitement. That's the first thing he says is he loves the men talking.
It's a vibe.
It starts early, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it's a responsibility. And one of the, like I said, one of the things I hate when I walk in and I see any shop, I see barbers with their headphones on and just avoiding the clients.
Or on the phone.
On the phone.
Yeah.
Never off the phone. On the whole time.
Right. They'll be cutting everything in and ignoring whoever, just arm moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a responsibility. So this segment today, this podcast was really special. And I was looking forward to it because I understand that some people out there, they don't have the information, and information changes situation. Just as simple as saying to a client, you know what? I understand. I hear you. It's okay to feel the way you feel. Here's a number. Again, there's a national number and there's a local number that you can call. Here's this number, and every barber student should look it up and have it on their person to give it to someone. That doesn't make you a special. Doesn't make you a psychiatrist. It doesn't make you. It just makes you. You just being an advocate to your clients.
It
It
doesn't
shows
mean
you
you're calling
care.
somebody crazy. Yeah.
It shows you care,
Yeah, and it's that simple.
and you never know who's gonna need it.
Yes,
You never know.
right. So we started this tour. So we're going across the state of Tennessee, being mental health advocates, training barbers. We started in Knoxville. We're going to Chattanooga this week. We'll be in Nashville, and then we'll be in Memphis and a couple cities in between.
God willing.
God willing. Yep, yes, sir. And then we're gonna come back to Johnson City on the last leg of the tour and train some barbers who haven't been trained. So it's something that I'm looking forward to, and I think it's something. It's just a little bit more excitement because I love going to the environment and just seeing the barbers' faces who didn't realize the power that they carry.
I just like walking in. Everybody's like, "Who are these dudes?" And you get, and then like you get to talking to people, and you're like, "Man, I cut hair," and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's really a barber." So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what's going on, and it's like the whole mood change. They're like, we're just kicking it at that point.
The best part was just walking in there and watching their faces while we were talking and giving a demonstration and training, like in awe, their mouths just open, and they're like, man.
Craig be getting real on them. I was like, yo, I was like, you're gonna get up out of here.
I mean, but I wish when I was cutting, like starting out, that's something I would enjoy. Just knowing the power the shield that I could just yield. You know what I mean? The power that the bat that I could swing.
Yeah,
because it's impactful.
It is.
And my hope is just that barbers take a little bit more care and just say, you know what, man, okay, I'm gonna swing this bat. I'm gonna swing it hard. I'm gonna give it to my clients.
There's a lot of conversations that our community needs to have.
Yes.
That we need to have as a community, that we need to really talk about, that we're just been ignoring for years, and it's just been causing more and more pain, and and building up, and now it's pouring over because now everybody's seeing it, which has been there, but now it's on the national news. Now people that chose to ignore it or didn't believe it exists, now they see it, and now it's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's address it. Let's quit wasting time and have these conversations, because it's only going to get worse.
It is, and it was just so powerful to see, like Naomi just say, "Hey, man, I can't go no more." Simone Biles said, "Hey, man, I can't go no more." A lot of people was bashing her, knocking her down, but I'm like, "Hey, you don't understand." She said she couldn't. How you gonna tell somebody what they can, what they can't do on their individual person? I can't compete no more. Anything you should get out of that is like, you know what? I understand.
That's just sports in general, though. Everybody's got that.
No, that's life in general.
Yeah.
People just can't understand and accept when somebody says that they can't.
Yeah.
Instead of telling them that they can, find out why and find out if they need some help.
Yes. Well, and find out why and helping them get the help is reducing the stigma.
Right.
And positive communication.
Yeah.
I mean,
that you'll be okay, and all those good conversations that we used to have, those days are gone. We need get some help. Help the person.
Right. And as simple as just say, hey, here's this 1-800 number, or here's this local number, and reach out to them, and someone will get back to you and point you in the direction to help you ease this pain that you're having. Because it is a pain. And I couldn't imagine just going through life having a battle in my mind that I can't control.
When I worked at the prison, there was this one of the guys there, and he was a really cool guy, and he was doing some time, and he took medicine. He heard voices. So he said without the medicine, he heard about 30 different voices that he could differentiate between one another. And he said when he took his medicine, he only heard 7.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah. When he took his medicine, he only heard 7, but just eliminated that many voices for him. It made him able to bear life, made him able to go through life.
And people, a lot of times, we're in this age of cell phones and cameras. People see someone going through something, a hard time. What they do, they record it and they post it.
To make a joke.
To make a joke.
Get famous. Go viral. That's the goal.
That time you can use your person and help that person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or call someone. Call some 911. Call some medical something. Call some first responder. Say, you know what? Someone's out there hurting themselves. Don't don't stigmatize them and use your cell phone and then post it. That's not fair. Don't do that and make a joke out of it.
Yeah, I think that can be a lasting effect with a lot of folks, is that when they do come forward, the audience sometimes isn't accepting and they want to laugh, and that's not cool.
Well, I think too, a lot of people just don't know.
Right.
Because when I remember when I was a little kid going to school, one of my friends,
That's what I was thinking about.
he was doing something uncommon in school. The teachers laughed. We
Mm-hmm.
all laughed. I laughed. I didn't know better. So it was up to someone to correct us, to give us the proper information. Said, you know what, Craig, he's going through something right now. It's not something that he want to go through, but we're going to get him some help. And those are conversations that needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a child, but there's some adults now who are going to laugh, who don't understand that, hey, he's going through something. So there needs to be someone who's a better judgment around to correct the situation, to correct the people around him.
And in this life, I mean, if you're going to go, there's nobody going to go through this life and not feel some sort of depressive stage or have some kind of supreme anxiety. There's going to be a time where you're going to hit a wall, and it just happens to everybody, and that's how life works. And how would you treat people? You should treat people how you would want to be treated, whether or not you felt it yet. It's going to happen. And if your attitude towards somebody else is, hey, get over it, when somebody comes up to you and you have the same problem, they're like, hey, get over it, and you're upset, you need to think about how you treated other people and how you responded to when people were dealing with things as well.
Because at the same time, too, getting help enables you to live a normal or productive life as well. Because the guy dropped down from 30 voices to 7. That minimalized a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
He's not fighting 30, he's fighting 7 right now, so he got a chance. All people are asking for is a chance. Give them a chance.
Just a momentary release, just a little, just I mean, even if it's like you said, you come in there, you hate work, you hate home, you hate your car that you drove from between both of them, and then
Absolutely.
somebody flipped you off on the highway, and then the only time you got is that 30 minutes in the barber chair, and then your barber has got headphones on and he's headbanging, he ain't listening the whole time. You're just sitting there thinking about your horrible day, your horrible job, your horrible car that you drove, and then you gotta go back home where it was horrible too. And then at the same time, you got a guy sitting there that's just banging on your head because he's doing a fade and not saying nothing to you.
Because one thing too, right? When you understand the power that you wield by just being an advocate for clients, you're able to identify some things within yourself too. So if you're going overboard and you feel in a certain way, you'll be able to call someone or reach out to someone to help yourself too. Because as the ones who doing the service, we have hard times too as well. But just being educated enough to understand that, you know what, hey, call this number. You might be able to use that number yourself too, because by you educating people and talking about it, you feel free now to take some of your own advice that you're giving out. And that's important too as well. That's real important.
Get the plank out of your own eye.
Yeah, I mean, because we're humans, so we're gonna go through stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not educated to understand the power that you help someone else, you can't help yourself.
And there's nothing more. I think the most relieving thing a person can do is to help other people, because that's when you really feel good. Even when nobody sees it, even if you just give that $20 to that one woman, that has, something like that, something, just being able to help somebody is going to make you feel better naturally.
$20, haircut price going up. So some haircuts are like 30. So if you at least get 30.
If Craig's cutting you paying what, $600 for a cut?
So,
no.
You got to fly them out first class.
Down in that good aid. If some of them just around 70.
So if you're getting that type of, collateral for your services, you should be able to give back something. It's just the basic.
Absolutely.
Self-care. Just listen.
And open and good conversation.
That's it. And I remember years ago, and I just thought about this now. I remember I used to think about, man, I wish I could go to school to be a psychiatrist and be a barber at the same time. Because if you go into school, you're a psychiatrist and you're a barber, you're doing 2 services in one.
And you can charge the insurance. That's my.
I mean, but realistically, I mean, when you're thinking on that level, you're doing 2 services in one.
Mhm.
So that's another gem right there. Earn the crown.
Yes, sir.
If you start off early enough, you can go to college, get your psychiatrist, whatever degree, and then come back, get your barber license, and do 2 services one, and that'll make your job even extra fun.
You gotta get that patent first, Craig. You putting it out in the air.
Oh.
You say just giving the game away for free. It's
Hey, man.
Well, now that you say that, I had the thought a second ago that, you know, even earlier in life would be a good thing because we focus on health and all that other type stuff. That is becoming a key part. Just like you said, considering the climate of the country right now, it's going to increase quite a bit due to what's going on in the country with the pandemic. So that would be something that they put in school systems, like to implement along with health classes, something like that. Teaching them early how to deal with that.
Right.
And then, just like you said, with the barbers and anybody else, take classes, you know, your customer service and being able to talk and everything else. That is a big part of your business.
Yes.
That's part of you're taking ownership of your business.
Well, the most important part of a haircut is a consultation.
Mhm.
The most important part of the haircut is a consultation. And at times, I feel when you go through a consultation, you can kind of feel the climate of the client. You can kind of feel the temperature of the client of a little bit, because some people will come in and be like, happy, Cherry, you know, you about to change my life with this cut. I'm just happy. Ooh, I can't wait for this next 20, 30 minutes.
About to get out, pull something.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people come in and it's like, man, I need to you just see that tension on their face.
Mm-hmm.
And some people come in just aloof sometimes. It's like, man, just take my hair. Just give me about like 2-hour haircut. You know what I mean? So you can kind of feel and see the temperature of your client. So during that consultation, which is the most important part of the haircut, feel them out. Throw some questions out there and to see how you're going to approach that person.
And I think most barbers are already doing this. I think a
Yep.
lot of barbers, if you're in the industry, you're doing it. And it's just, we're really just putting a name to what you're doing.
Yes.
That's all it is. I mean, I know you are sitting there probably listening like, man, I do that. Shoot. I talk to what's the name, crowd in my chair, you know, and you talk to them. So most of y'all are already doing that. We're just reminding you that there's also another level to seek if things get real, if it gets to where you don't even know what to say and you don't know how to help, there's avenues for people for them to get help.
Yep.
And even if it's just like, hey man, here's a card number, holler at them, you know, that you want to be able to give as much as you can. And sometimes, you know, a lot of times you never know when's the last time you're gonna see somebody. I'm sure there's probably been several times people walk out of haircut, fresh cut, and done, you know.
Well, I think one thing that I've seen that was crazy was I've seen people that would fall asleep in a chair. And my first thought was, what does that person got going on to where they're capable of falling asleep when someone's cutting their hair?
Don't work
Right.
12-hour shift.
That is a lot. That person is busy. He got some stress. He got something going on. And that's someone that you reach out to the next time you talk to him. Conversate, find out what's going on with this gentleman.
That's a
With
good
this
point.
lady.
Great point.
Yeah, just be observant and find out, you know, hey, what's going on, how things going, talk to them. And
See why we bring non-experts on the as guests, because you guys can give great advice and great jewels too.
And I didn't even
heard?
think about it. And most time, you know, people, you cut their hair, sometimes they say, oh, the clippers put me to sleep. But I never thought about, you know, asking people like that are so stressed out they can't sleep, or maybe they're working so hard that they don't have no sleep.
that
Like,
might be the only chance to get.
exactly. That's
Right.
the only sleep they get all day is in the chair.
And another great point you made too, Chauncey, you didn't even think about it. The next time they come, think about how they was the previous time.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's going through again repetitively, hey, suggest something.
Right.
Give some help. You know what I mean? You might not catch them that first time because you don't know how that person is going to feel. They fell asleep in your chair, but hey man, you fell asleep in the chair last time. Everything okay? Anything I can help with? And that's simple.
I had a client fall asleep. He's a young guy. He's a welder. He's like 21, super motivated dude. He just bought himself a Ferrari cash. He paid cash for it, but he's a super motivated guy. But I was cutting his hair one time, and he fell asleep. And I'm like, "You all right?" He said, "Yeah, man." He's hilarious. He's like, "Yeah, man. They've been getting the milk from the duck at work, man." He said they've been working me, man. I was like, "Okay."
The one line, the milk from the duck.
Got the milk from the duck.
That's So Chauncey, this is your first time on the podcast, obviously first time on our podcast. What you think of the podcast? And before you even answer that, what did you think about when I told you, Chauncey, I want to get you in this podcast? What was going through your mind?
I thought I was gonna come and watch and listen. I'm being 100%
Right.
honest. Because when I walked in, I was like, "Well, what are we doing?"
Most people get nervous, but this is the first time not knowing what to expect.
I wasn't really nervous. This is actually the first time I've ever heard myself on the microphone.
You sound good, man. You should
Yeah.
have your own radio show.
You got that little radio voice.
So but this is amazing, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk with you all, and hopefully you'll invite me again. I
Of
really
course.
really hope so. This was
Yeah.
amazing and good information.
It is. It is. Everybody who comes on, they have to come on again. And what you can do, you can go out there and check out. We're on Spotify. We're on any major podcast platform, Apple, Google, and go check out some of the episodes. We have some really great episodes. Thanks to our number one the top podcast in the country, top 25 feed spot for our ranking. I think we're like, for Barber content, we're like number one in the country, and we're in the top 25 in the world. So again, thank you, FeedSpot, for that recognition. Just want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Colossal Brand, a major sponsor, and we got some great news coming up again. We're doing this Confess Project thing. We'll be in Chattanooga this Wednesday, the 22nd. Looking forward to it. We'll be in chat at 2 p.m. to 4. If you guys out there have anything you want to stop by and check us out, say what's up. Come through and check us out. Again, my guy MI, if you have any questions for him, send us some questions. I mean, you can hit us up on my Instagram. You can hit him up on MI's Instagram.
Am I your barber?
Yeah, and just send him a question. Crown Cuts Academy JC or Crown Cuts Academy Bristol. We also have a website. You can also go on send us our email at barbercloudsuccess@gmail.com. And if you reach out to us, anything you want to ask us about this industry, feel free to hit us up, because this podcast is so major. It's touching people across the country, across the world, in China, in Russia, in the Caribbean, in New York, Chicago, Boston, Florida, on the West Coast, Seattle, LA, all over the country. If you have any question, you're a barber student and want to find out some specific information and want to talk to us, one of our best guests, she drove from Texas. She listened to the podcast, and she drove from Texas 17 hours to come and check out the school and just to have a conversation. She said she loved what she heard on the podcast, and she just wanted to come out and see what we were doing up in East Tennessee, which was major. And I randomly get calls, messages from people around the country, around the world, just asking simple questions. So no question is a bad question. All questions are good questions. And if you have a guest you want to talk to or want some information, a guest who's been on the show previously, hit us up, let us know, and we'll get you out there. We'll get you in contact with them. But this was I know we took a couple of weeks off, but I was excited to get back, man.
I'm happy to be back. It feels good to see Lathan again. Give her behind the thing. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, shout out to Lathan and Market Street Media for doing a wonderful job with us. Really appreciate you, Lathan. If you want to start a podcast, hit Lathan up. You'll be in the studio doing some great things, and we'll extend your reach. And again, we have some things coming up in the future we want to talk about. But again, we'll have one episode come out every week from now on again, and we'll just try to catch you guys up. But really appreciate you guys out there, the audience, showing some love. Spreading love the JC way. It's the only way we know, but spread love the Crown Cuts way is the way to do it. So what's your last and worst, Chauncey, before we close? Because, all good things got to come there. We've been on this rant for like an hour now. It doesn't seem that.
I just want to say, y'all did an amazing job. I really love seeing the growth from us being teenagers to grown men now, how you've become a pillar in the community.
Yes, sir.
And the sky's the limit, because everything is good and the halo is around you. So it's an amazing feeling to see the growth that you're doing in the community.
And where can people contact you? You have an email or someone you want people to contact you, or Instagram or Facebook page, or someone might hear something and want to say, Mr. Boyd, I want to just reach out to you and ask you a question. Where can they reach? Where can they find you at?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I got Darth_Sebo. And then on Yahoo, I'm ChaunceyBoy1 at yahoo.com.
So if anybody has a question, hit my guy up and he'll reach back out to you and just tell him you heard him on the podcast. You love his voice. You might want to give him a job. You know what I mean?
You could be announcing for the Atlanta Hawks.
Something.
And I want to back up. You mentioned Colossal, and that's an outstanding young man. And he hit me with a pair of shorts the other day, and I want to give him a shout out. That's some good brand there.
Yes, check it out. Check it out. Colossal brand, colossal.org.com. Hit us up. Mr. Am what's your last 10 words? What do you think about today, man?
I mean, you'll be a lot happier helping people, man. It's just trying to reach out and touch somebody is the most noble thing you can do in your life, whether you're a barber or not. You know, if you just walk around with your arms tucked in, your head down, you're not going to find satisfaction in life. You're not going to find satisfaction in your job. Reach out there and touch somebody.
And again, shout out to the Confess Project, our founder, Lorenzo Lewis, out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Check them out. If you want to donate or be a part of the organization, hit us up. Again, it's the Confess Project out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Some big things are coming through. Sponsored by Gillette, Snapchat, Toyota. So it's a big movement coming out. And again, just give you these 4 points. Be an active listener. Have some positive communication. Number 2. Validate what your client is saying. Number 3. And reduce the stigma. Because until we reduce the stigma of mental health, you're not going to get a level, you're not going to get a shot. You're not going to be able to help someone. You're not going to be able to help yourself. Until we reduce the stigma of mental health, we're going to be in the same situation, the same position. And it needs to be reduced. And again, you do have the power when someone is sitting in your chair. Extend your arm and tell them about the 1-800 number nationally. Or also extend your arm and tell them, hey, there's a local number. And each barber student or each student who is starting the school should find that number so they can reference to a client coming into the school to get a service. And then you'll have that number when you're in the shop, wherever you may decide to work. Those things are important. Again, number 1, be an active listener. Number 2, have some positive communication. Number 3, validate what your client is saying. It's okay to cry. It's okay to go through what you're going through. You know what? I've been there. You know what? I had days where I had to say, hey, I was overwhelmed. It's okay. And then reduce the stigma. Reduce the stigma of mental health. Will give somebody a fight. Reduce the stigma of mental health. Will level the playing field. Because our community needs us. Help your community out individually. Again, Bar College Success brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy, JC, Crown Cuts Academy, Bristol, and Craig's Crown Cuts Barbershop, downtown Johnson City. We do enrollments every month. We do accept the GI Bill. We do accept financial aid. If you have any questions, just call us up. Reach us on Instagram, Facebook, our website, and sign up for a wonderful education, a wonderful career where you're going to be changing lives, changing your life for the best, but also giving people a fair shot and giving people a chance. Appreciate you listening. This was a wonderful banging episode. As in every good thing, it starts, it got to come to an end. And we've been on there for an hour right now, so appreciate you guys again. Lasting words, anything you want to say before we head off?
One day at a time.
That's it. God willing.
Yes, sir.
Stay safe.
Yes, sir.